Hi everyone, today let's talk about the government shutdown, then we'll take a quick look at the charts, then we'll take a look at my results for the day and my thoughts going into the Monday session. If you like trading stocks and options and making money, definitely like and subscribe. I make videos like this every single day that the markets are open as well as Sundays, so make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Welcome to the Portfolio Bulletin. Let's get started. So it looks like the government is going to shut down. House Republicans were trying to pass a stopgap bill, and 20 Republicans sided with the Democrats to defeat the bill. Pretty interesting here, and because of that, now the 2-week recess for the government is now shut down, and they're going to have to figure out how to avoid the government shutdown in less than 2 days. They say here, even if it had passed in the House, it would have failed in the Senate. So it sounds like Democrats were not going to let this pass either way. But even the House Republicans couldn't pass their own bill, which kind of alludes to the dysfunction of government currently, but that's a larger topic for another time. Schumer came out and criticized Mike McCarthy, saying that coddling the hard right is not going to work, and they're going to have to figure out how to come together to get some Democratic votes in order to get this bill passed, it seems like. And even the White House came out and said they're doing everything they can, pleading, begging, and shaming House Republicans. Not sure why they said shaming there. That's probably not the right tactic, but kind of interesting to see how it's going here. Not great, no common agreements, and it does seem like the government is going to shut down. In terms of markets, we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but it does seem like that is currently not priced into the markets. Moving over to the economic calendar, CPI in the Eurozone came in pretty good. PCE pricing for the US came in at expectations, month-over-month numbers slightly below. Everything looked pretty good there. Michigan inflation data a little bit higher than expected. Consumer expectations a little bit worse. And consumer sentiment a little bit better. Overall, not bad for the day on inflation data. Moving over to Max Payne, we got a finish pretty similar to what we were talking about yesterday. Not quite there. I was looking for a push a little bit closer to 430 for the close, but we did end up between 425 and 430, which was what we were looking at. I kind of thought above 428 was going to happen. We got very close, but it didn't quite happen. Overall, not terrible. Kind of a middle finish here for Max Payne. Moving over to the SPY here on the hour and the daily, you can see we did rally up. We did expect that, but then we fell a lot more than I was expecting. Took out both of these levels, did end up holding 425.82, but realistically I was kind of expecting to get above these levels and rally at least to the EMAs and SMAs on the hourly chart. Didn't quite happen, and we ended up negative 0.24% on the day. Momentum still stepping towards bullish, RSI still stepping towards bullish, so you do have to respect that. We did finish right at the 144 day EMA, just above that by a few cents, which does look a little bit bullish. Moving over to the NASDAQ, a little bit more bullish. Did take out these levels, but then broke down pretty substantially. Still holding that 55 EMA here on the 1-hour chart. Slightly bullish day, 0.07%. Momentum continuing to step towards bullish here. Does kind of seem like we're going to get a pullback to either a higher low or a double bottom here on the daily chart. Based on the candle that we saw here, big gap up, big fall. It really needs to either hold here or it's going to pull back to a higher low or a double bottom, closer to that 350, 324 level. Moving over to the Russell and the Dow. Russell holding at that 21 EMA on the 4-hour chart. Ended up being a bearish day. Didn't like to see it, but it's still holding 175.96. If that continues to hold, we could look for that higher low setup, look for a rally, change of trend potentially. Dow double bottoming here already. But you do have to respect the very clear divergence we're seeing on RSI, double bottom, much higher RSI read. And similarly here on the Russell, you can see RSI continuing to gain strength. Moving over to Apple and Tesla. Apple rallied up a little bit, hit the 21 EMA on the 4-hour chart, got above 170.90. Does not look super convincing to the upside, but it is holding here, and you can trade off of that level. If it does break, you have trend support down at 168.36, or the next level down at 163.82. Again, still very much a downtrend, does not look super convincing, but it is interesting. Tesla, we saw the breakout yesterday, got the continuation here. Still looks pretty decent, momentum starting to fade a little bit. You want to see it get above the 200 and hold that. Look for a rally up to the 55 EMA at 258.61. That could be interesting. But right now we're seeing some resistance at that 200. Moving over to staples and discretionary. Staples not doing much of anything. You could argue double bottom, double pin low here. Momentum taking towards bullish. Kind of interesting. But again, not super convincing yet. Discretionary is gapped up, fell, slightly bullish on the day, similar to Tesla. Moving over to breadth on the 50 and the 200. You can see 50-day did not get a good candle, big engulfing candle, not great. 200-day, on the other hand, did sell off some, but it didn't engulf the previous candle. You could argue that this still looks okay. We had that pin low, confirmation candle on both. Now we're seeing a slight pullback in my opinion, and we could start to see this rally over the next week or two. Moving over to yields, these have been critical here recently. 2-year yield fell on Thursday, basically held flat on Friday. 10-year threw a wick down to the 9 EMA. Didn't really confirm that big wick that we saw on Thursday. Really, you want to see this confirm a little bit weaker in my opinion. At least get a move similar to this here towards the end of August, closer to that 55 EMA. That would be nice. And this is something to continue to watch here pretty closely. Moving over to the dollar, similar to yields, we saw a dip down and then a little bit of a rally, ended up being a pin bar on the day. Daily chart basically mimicking that 10-year yield. I expected this to fall a little bit further. We ended up finding some support and then chopping here. Again, continuing to watch this one very closely. If this is a true rejection, we should see a little bit of a continuation lower, just like we saw here towards the end of August and on the yields chart. Moving over to the volatility indices, MOVE index continues to fall a little bit. VIX came down, tested that trend line, rallied up a little bit, testing the 200. Momentum still ticking down, so this could just be a short-term bounce. I'm still expecting this to fall at least a little bit further, probably back into this 15 range. Moving over to my accounts, you can see I was down a little bit on the day. I decided to roll out those puts to 173 for Monday on the IWM. We'll see how that one plays out. It's doing okay right now. Like I said, I think this could be a little bit of a shorter term pullback, and then we should see a little bit of a rally early next week, in my opinion. Similarly, here on the Qs, I had a 358 put, saw a profit on there. I did trade in and out of a couple of positions throughout the day, which did not help me. You can see basically everything on the board here is green. Obviously, I got squeezed out of a couple of positions on those moves that we saw in the midday. I still have a 365 put here for Monday, and then I have a 358 call. I rolled this up and out pretty substantially early in the session. I got a $5.35 credit for that, but that's all the way out to October 4th here, so that's Wednesday of next week. So far, that's been protecting me pretty well. And then that 361 call that I had going into the day, I rolled all the way out to 7 days from now. That's the Friday session of next week. And I got $3.50 for that. Again, continuing to collect that money back as the markets fell here today. And we'll see how that plays out on Monday. Overall, not terrible. S&P 500 was negative on the day. NASDAQ was basically flat. And I was down about 0.1%. Let me know down in the comments section what you think of the government shutdown. Are they actually going to shut down? Or will they fix it in the next 2 days or so, and how will that affect the markets? Definitely like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.